friends, in this video, I'm gonna show you how to make your own air dry clay or salt dough. I learned this recipe from my amazing friend, Michelle Parvin. She works over at Brown School for any of my Memorial friends who know her. And I believe she may have learned this from another art teacher named Cassie Stevens. So thank you to everyone for sharing your recipes. And yeah, that's that. So what you're gonna need for this salt dough or your own little air dry clay is half a cup of flour, all-purpose flour, a quarter cup of salt, this is table salt here, and a quarter cup of water. Of course, you'll need a mixing bowl and a spoon, maybe a spatula, and have a paper towel, nearby in case a mess occurs. Now, what I'm gonna do first is add my salt, all measured out. I'm gonna put my little measuring cup over there, and the water. We're gonna let that just dissolve for a moment. Stir it with a spoon just a bit. And remember, ask your grown-ups at home before you get started on this project, okay? Now, this clay will not be as strong as real earth clay. It will not be as strong as other air dry clays that you might buy at the store, but you can make it without cooking it on the stove or anything like that. So it's super easy for you, my friends. Just know that the products you make with this might not last forever, but that's okay. You are in this for the process, not the product. And I just love the process of making things and baking things and making art, and this is kind of like that all in once. Now, all in one, sorry, I keep adding letters to my words. Anywho, let's go ahead and I'm gonna add my half a cup of flour. You can do this a little bit at a time. Come on, get out. There you go. A little bit at a time or all at once. I like to add a little bit first, put this down, give it a good mix. Then add a little bit more. It's not gonna come together right away. And you're gonna mix with your spoon first. There we go, I'm all set with that. You're gonna mix with your spoon first, but you're gonna get right on in here with your hands afterwards. Now really stir hard. It's not just a surface stir, it's get to the bottom of the bowl kind of stir. You really want that salt and flour and water to blend together. Really scrape the sides of your bowl. If you want to use your spatula, you can. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Now, your clay, your salt dough, will be about the consistency of mashed potatoes. Yum, yum, yum. And if you wanted to add color, just grab a little food coloring and bloop, 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 you're good to go. Now, let's see, I'm gonna move this off there. Actually, what am I doing? I have a spatula for this. Of course, but I'm gonna get in there with my hands. I love the way this stuff feels. Now, your clay will last. If you don't want to use it right away, what you have to do is put it in an airtight bag or container in the fridge. Remember, we used real life baking products for this: flour, salt, and water. You don't want to leave it out for any naughty kitties to play with, because I definitely have naughty kitties over here who would love to play with clay. And there you have it. All right, I'm gonna scoot this aside. Now, if you find that your clay is too sticky or too wet, go ahead and add a little bit more flour. If you find that your clay is crackling and it's way too dry, add a little bit more water. It's all an experiment, and there you have it. I have my very own air dry clay. Now, I'm gonna scoot my bowl out of the way and my mess. Don't forget, artists always clean up their messes. I hear some of you going, right? So how about we split this in two and let's make a little pinch pot out of one, right? So what you do to make a pinch pot is roll it into a ball. My first graders have done this with me before. Roll it into a ball, set it down, thumbs up, thumbs down, smoosh, pause. You don't want to smoosh all the way through, and then pinch, pinch, pinch super gently. Pinch, pinch, pinch super gently. Then get on in there and pinch, 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 and turn. Pinch, 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 and turn. Your salt dough will be sticky, so you might want to add a little bit of flour to your surface. This is a plastic surface I'm using here. But if you want to add a little more to it. So it's very different than what we've used before in our classroom. We only have model magic. But this is kind of rad too, isn't it? And you can make your pinch pot just a regular circle. You could turn it into a triangle like this. Look at that. But before I do that, what if I pinched down here and made a little pinch pot heart? Because I love you so, so much, my friends. You can make anything you want with your special clay. I recommend letting it dry on some wax paper, maybe with a little bit of flour underneath so it's super, super sturdy. And it will take several days for this to fully harden. So yeah, that's that. But when it is hardened, you could totally add your own color to it with your paints and whatever you have at home. That could be kind of magical. I'm gonna scoot this to the side with my wax paper. I'll be right back. Now, for this other ball, I wanna show you guys how to make a coil pot. So what we're gonna need to do is take out kind of like a golf ball-ish size, ping pong, golf ball. I think maybe a ping pong ball might be better. Yeah, it was about that size, right? And you can make it smaller or bigger as you choose, but what you're gonna do is make a little ball, place it down, and you know what? I actually think I wanna do this on top of wax paper so I don't have to move it. Hold on a minute. Getting ahead of myself. Here we go. Okay. So, ball. Press, flatten like a mini adorable pizza. Now you don't want to flatten the edges. Do you see how my thumb is not pinching the edge too much and smooshing it down? Be gentle, be patient. There you go. Okay, this is the base for our coil pot. Now we need to make the actual coils. Look at that little paint from my desk added to it. I kind of like it. Anyways, let's make our coils. What we're gonna do is we're gonna scoot this over here, okay? And you're just gonna break this up into a few different, I may have 3 balls, that's fine. Cool bean town. Make a ball. You can do this all at once or one at a time, totally up to you, okay? And now you're just gonna roll these out gently, 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 gently. And then to make them really start spreading, you're gonna roll and separate. Roll and separate. Now, you are gonna notice I am not pressing hard at all. If you press hard, watch what happens. Oh no, that's no good at all. But if that happens to you, roll it up, roll it out, and then roll and spread. That is that, my friends. Pretty cool, huh? So these are gonna be your little coils. They look like little snakes. Now, if you feel like this is a little too big or too long for you to start with, make these balls and these sections just a little smaller, and that will help you. You'll have more coils to work with. Alrighty, so what I'm gonna do now that I have this coil, I'm gonna hold it by one side, by the tail, hold it down here. Woo, it's stretchy. And then you're gonna lay it down over the edge and right on top of that first layer. Woo! Wow, did you see how that stretched? Now see how that's really getting thin? I'm just gonna take that right off. Boop. And that is my first layer. I'll show you that from a different view in a moment, but I think I've learned just from this one that this salt dough is very stretchy. So that means I'm gonna put these back together and I'm gonna work with smaller pieces. I think that'll be great. Problem solving before your eyes. Roll it out. Roll and spread. There you go. Awesome sauce. And you'll see why I want to have it on the parchment paper first, or the wax paper, whatever you want to call it, because I want this to stay in one spot. I don't want it to, it'll be very hard to move because this salt dough is very soft. Okay, ooh, gently hold. Touch exactly where you ended. So you start where you ended on the second row, and you just gently place it right on top. Now, like I said, this is gonna be very fragile at first, so be gentle. You can give it a little tap tap. Alrighty, I'm gonna finish these next two pieces, and I'll come back when I'm all done. All right, check it out. I am finished, and I can pick it up, ooh, super gently. You see the side? That's what the side looks like. This is gonna be great when it's dry. Now I'm gonna set it down gently, and that is that. Now, see how it's a little wonky in certain spots? You can definitely use your fingers to sort of make it a little bit more even if you want, but be gentle with it. It's very, very, very fragile. And when it dries, it'll be like the consistency of a thick cracker or a kind of like a Chips Ahoy cookie. So be gentle with your salt dough creations, my friends. Now, those two examples were just a couple of ideas for what you could make with your salt dough or your air dry clay. You are allowed to create whatever you want, whether it be a little flower that lays flat or a little coil pot or pinch pot like we just created. But if you want to make a little flat creation, all you have to do is grab some of your dough. And instead of wax paper, you could use cardboard, and maybe it'll stick to the cardboard. That could be super cool. I'm gonna flatten this just a bit. And what if I take a pencil or the end of a paintbrush, totally up to you, whatever you wanna use, and we added some cool designs. Well, I have a pen. Whoops, I didn't mean to grab the pen. I wanted my pencil. There we go. But could I turn this into a little pizza? Totally. Could it be a cool mandala creation like this if I change my mind and want to make some really cool designs all the way around? Yes, yes, yes. You can do whatever you like with your dough. That's what's super cool about it. Let's try to make a flower. What would that look like? I don't even know. Small little circle for a petal. I'm gonna smoosh it and point it one side and point it on another. It's like one petal. I dig it. What do you think? Yes, I love it. Okay, another one. La-ti-da-ti-da. Right on top of it, I'm gonna smoosh it and point it. Oh yeah, look at that texture forming. Cool Bean City. Or Cool Flower City, I don't know. Whatever. Right next to it, partially on top, smoosh and point. Smoosh and point. Kinda cool. And you're gonna work your way all the way around. Now that I have finished my petals, I can grab a little piece for the middle. Even smaller, I think. Small little one. Add it to the center. Give it a smoosh. And then let's add some little texture in there. I got this idea from Mrs. Parvin. Super cool. And then if you wanted to add some texture for the petals, that could be pretty cool, right? And then when this is done, I meant give it a few days, you could paint it or color it with some markers. Sky is the limit, friends. And check it out. What if we add a little stem? Oh, what a darling little flower. I'm gonna moosh that down a bit. Now, this part will be very fragile. So if you choose to make a stem, do not expect the stem to survive the long haul of time, okay? This is more of a temporary clay solution when you don't have any, but you still just want to sculpt and create something cool. Now, my only warning is that you see my hands, how they're kind of crackly and yucca? That's from the salt and the flour. That's just the nature of the dough. If this is a feeling that you don't enjoy, make sure you have some water nearby to sort of wash your hands with, or you could maybe use some gloves, but it is a very dry feeling. So if you don't like feeling dry, make sure you wear gloves or something to avoid an unpleasant texture. That's all for now, my friends. Can't wait to see your clay creations.